He already broke others before he ever looked your way. Not with hands, not with weapons, with pressure, with fear, with the weight of reality. He erased belief from rooms. He made grown people doubt themselves. He made confident minds hesitate. He walked through lives and left silence behind, not because he was stronger, but because they stopped standing. And when he finally turned towards you, he expected the same ending: quiet surrender, soft collapse, easy control. But something went wrong. You did not move like the rest. You did not fold. You did not beg. You did not run. And now the air feels different, because the one who always won is facing someone who refuses to disappear. Before we go any further, let me say this. If these words hit you in the chest, if they feel like truth you have been avoiding, do not walk away. Stay with me, like this. Subscribe if you are tired of being underestimated, like this if you have been pushed to the edge and did not fall. Comment if you know what it feels like to be tested and still breathing. This is not entertainment. This is armor. They thought you were the easy lick. They saw the calm. They saw the silence. They saw the patience and mistook it for weakness. They mistook control for fear. They mistook discipline for doubt. They did not see the nights you stayed awake sharpening your mind. They did not see the private battles where you lost and stood back up anyway. They did not see the moments where quitting would have been easier, but you stayed. So they stepped closer, confident, comfortable, certain the pattern would repeat, certain you would be another name erased, another story unfinished. But you were never built like the others. You process pain differently. Where most people shut down, you lock in. Where most people panic, you slow down. Where most people react, you observe. You let them expose themselves. You let them underestimate you. You let them believe they already won. Because you understand something most never will. The real power is not loud. It waits, it learns, it remembers. Every time life tried to crush you, it taught you something. Every loss trained you. Every disappointment stripped weakness away. You did not get softer. You got precise. You learned how to move without wasting energy. You learned how to stay quiet when noise would give you away. You learned how to hold your ground when everything inside wanted to run. And now here they are, standing in front of someone built from pressure, someone shaped by resistance, someone who does not break on impact. They came expecting fear. They met focus. They came expecting surrender. They met patience. They came expecting an easy outcome. They met someone who already survived worse, someone who already buried old versions of themselves, someone who already faced the part of life that scares people into quitting. You are not new to this feeling. You have been here before, and you know how this ends. This is the moment they realize something is wrong, not because you threaten, not because you shout, but because you do not move the way they planned. You do not react on their timing. You do not follow their script. You do not crack when they apply pressure. And that confuses them, because their power depends on predictability. It depends on fear. It depends on people folding early. And you are not doing any of that. They start questioning themselves. They start hesitating. They start feeling the weight they used to put on others. They start understanding what it feels like to face someone who does not need permission to stand tall. Someone who is not impressed. Someone who is not intimidated. Someone who knows their own worth without needing approval. You are not reckless. You are not emotional. You are controlled. You are aware. You know exactly who you are and what you can endure. You know how far you have already come. And you know that whatever stands in front of you now is late to the fight, because the real war already happened inside you, and you won that. This is not about revenge. This is not about proving anything to anyone. This is about survival with dignity. This is about refusing to be reduced. This is about showing life that you are not an easy target, that you do not fold under pressure, that you do not disappear when things get heavy, that you do not give up just because someone expects you to. They are finding out, not through words, not through threats, but through your presence, through your calm, through your refusal to step back, through the quiet confidence of someone who has already been through hell and came back with their eyes open. And the truth is this: you were never meant to be easy. You were built to endure. You were shaped to resist. You were designed to stand when others fall. And anyone who mistakes your silence for weakness is about to learn the hardest lesson of their life. Stay grounded. Stay focused. Stay unmovable. Let them underestimate you. Let them underestimate you. Let them doubt you. Let them step closer thinking they already won. Because when someone like you stands their ground, the world does not stay the same. You were not the easy lick. You were the lesson. They are learning that some people are forged, not found, that some spirits are tempered by resistance, not comfort. You did not wake up powerful. You earned it through years of pressure that tried to bend you into something smaller. Every time life tested you, it carved something sharper into your core. You learned how to breathe under weight. You learned how to move when fear tried to freeze you. You learned how to keep your head clear when the room got loud. And now that training is speaking for you without a single word. You see it in their eyes. The shift. The moment confidence drains and calculation replaces it. They expected compliance. They expected weakness disguised as kindness. They expected someone easy to step over. Instead, they are standing across from someone who has already stood alone against worse odds. Someone who does not flinch when things get uncomfortable. Someone who understands that discomfort is not danger. It is just pressure asking who you really are. You do not rush this moment. You let it stretch. You let silence do the work. Because silence forces truth to surface. It forces doubt to grow. It forces people to confront the fact that they misjudged you. And that realization is heavier than any threat. They are not afraid of you. They are afraid of being wrong. Afraid that their usual control does not apply here. Afraid that the script they memorized no longer works. You know this space well, the calm before decisions, the stillness where most people panic. This is where you thrive, because you have already made peace with uncertainty. You have already accepted struggle as part of the path. You do not need guarantees, you need resolve. And that resolve has been built quietly over time when nobody was watching. They try to read you, they search for cracks, they look for impatience, they look for anger, they look for fear. But all they find is steadiness, and that unsettles them. Because steadiness cannot be rushed, it cannot be manipulated, it cannot be bullied into submission. It just stands there unmoved. You remember every time you were underestimated, every time someone decided your limits for you, every time you were dismissed because you did not look the part, sound the part, act the part. Those moments did not break you. They fueled you. They taught you to rely on yourself, to build strength where nobody could take it away, to sharpen your mind instead of announcing your intentions. This is not about dominance. This is about presence. This is about occupying your space fully, without apology. About knowing that you belong wherever you stand. About understanding that respect does not come from volume or force. It comes from certainty. From the way you carry yourself when things get tense. From the way you refuse to shrink when pressure increases. They sense it now, that you are not playing a role, that you are not pretending, that you are not posturing. You are simply being exactly who you are, and that authenticity is dangerous to anyone who relies on illusion. Because real strength does not need to prove itself. It just exists. You think about how far you have come, the versions of yourself that did not make it, the habits you killed, the doubts you outgrew, the fear you learned to manage instead of letting it manage you. Those sacrifices matter now. They show up in moments like this, when everything is on the line and you remain centered. This is where the balance shifts. Not because you attack, not because you escalate, but because you do not retreat. You hold your ground calmly. You let them realize that pushing further will cost more than they expected, that the easy outcome they planned is no longer available, that this situation requires more than intimidation, more than pressure, more than assumptions. You are not here to impress. You are here to endure. And endurance outlasts aggression every time. Aggression burns fast. Endurance stays. It adapts. It waits. It learns. It survives. And survival is the quiet power that never announces itself. They feel it slipping, the control, the certainty, the upper hand they thought they had. And when people lose control, they reveal who they really are. Some get louder, some get desperate, some retreat. You watch it all without judgment, because you understand human nature. You understand fear. You have lived with it. You have made it your companion instead of your enemy. This moment is not the end. It is the confirmation. Confirmation that you were never weak, that you were never small, that you were never easy. You were simply patient, waiting for the right moment to stand fully in your strength, waiting for the right test to reveal what you already knew. You do not need to celebrate. You do not need validation. The shift is enough. The realization in their eyes is enough. The understanding that you are not what they assumed is enough. Because from this point forward, nothing is the same. Carry this with you, not as arrogance, not as pride, but as quiet confidence, as proof that you can face pressure and remain intact, that you can be challenged and not collapse, that you can be underestimated and still rise. Life will test you again. Different faces, different situations, same pressure. And every time you will remember this feeling, this steadiness, this grounded certainty. And you will know that no matter who steps in front of you, you are not the easy target they hoped for. You are the moment where assumptions fail. You are the presence that forces recalculation. You are the proof that pressure does not break everyone, and they are still finding that out. The longer this moment stretches, the clearer it becomes. You are not here by accident. You did not survive what you survived just to fold now. Everything that once felt unfair was shaping you for encounters like this. Encounters where character matters more than strength, where mindset outweighs force, where the ability to stay grounded decides the outcome. You understand something they never had to learn. That real pressure does not announce itself. It arrives quietly and stays. It tests consistency. It tests patience. It tests whether you can remain yourself when nothing is comfortable. You passed those tests long before today. That is why you are standing here calm while they search for certainty. They thought experience alone made them dangerous. They thought past victories guaranteed future ones. They forgot that every challenge creates a different version of a person. They forgot that someone who has rebuilt themselves carries a different kind of weight, not loud, not flashy, but undeniable. You feel your breath steady, your thoughts slow, your body aligned with your intention. This is not tension, this is readiness, the kind that comes from knowing you have already handled worse nights than this, worse doubts than this, worse odds than this. Whatever happens, you will not lose yourself. There is a strange power in knowing you can walk away without shrinking, that you can stand firm without hostility, that you can protect your space without becoming what you oppose. That power cannot be taken. It can only be recognized too late. They realize now that you are not chasing anything. Not approval, not dominance, not validation. That makes you unpredictable, because people who are not desperate cannot be controlled. People who are not seeking permission move differently. You let them feel the pause, the space where assumptions collapse, the space where plans fail, the space where reality steps in. This is where false confidence dissolves. This is where truth becomes unavoidable. You do not need to explain yourself. Your presence already answered every question. The way you stand, the way you look forward, the way you refuse to rush or retreat. That is the message. Remember this version of yourself, the one who stayed centered when tested, the one who trusted their preparation, the one who did not betray their own values to survive a moment. This is who you are now. Carry this forward, into every room, into every challenge, into every situation where someone thinks they can decide your limits. Let them think whatever they want. Let them assume whatever makes them comfortable, because when the moment arrives, when pressure hits, when reality demands truth, you already know how this goes. You stay standing, you stay steady, and they keep finding out. Time keeps moving, and the weight of the moment does not fade. It deepens. You feel it settle into your bones like something familiar. This is not fear. This is recognition. Recognition that you have been here before in different forms, different faces, same pressure, same expectation that you would give in, same hope that you would make it easy. You remember the early days when you did not know your own strength, when doubt spoke louder than instinct, when you questioned yourself more than the world did. Those days mattered. They built awareness. They taught you how fragile confidence can be when it is borrowed instead of built. You stopped borrowing. You started constructing something real. Now when tension rises, you do not rush to escape it. You let it sit. You let it reveal what it needs to reveal. Most people cannot stay in that space. They fidget. They react. They over-explain. They expose themselves. You do none of that. You stay still because stillness is not emptiness. It is control. They sense that control and it unsettles them. Because control without aggression has no clear target. It cannot be challenged easily. It cannot be baited. It cannot be broken down with noise. It just remains. You realize something important in this stretch of time. You are not fighting anyone. You are simply refusing to be moved. That is the difference. That is the shift. Fighting drains energy, standing preserves it. And preserved energy lasts longer than force ever could. The world teaches people to be loud, to be seen, to be harsh, to be respected, to be reactive, to be relevant. You learned another way. You learned that consistency builds presence, that discipline creates gravity, that calm under pressure changes the temperature of a room. They are adjusting now, recalculating, looking for leverage that does not exist. Because leverage only works when someone is willing to bend. You are not bending, not out of pride, not out of ego, but out of clarity. You know what you will tolerate and what you will not. That clarity is non-negotiable. You think about how many times you wanted to explain yourself in the past, how many times you wanted to prove you were right, how many times you wanted recognition. You outgrew that. You learn that the strongest statement is alignment. When your actions match your values, nothing else is required. This moment confirms it. You do not feel the need to perform. You do not feel the urge to dominate. You do not feel the need to win loudly. You are already winning quietly by staying intact. Pressure reveals people. It reveals impatience. It reveals insecurity. It reveals entitlement. It also reveals resilience. It reveals preparation. It reveals inner structure. You see both sides clearly now. They are beginning to understand that whatever they brought will not work here. Not because you are unreachable, but because you are rooted. Rooted people do not topple easily. They sway. They adapt. They stay. You recognize the power of restraint. The ability to choose not to react. The ability to let moments pass without surrendering yourself to them. This is not weakness. This is mastery. Mastery over impulse. Mastery over fear. Mastery over the need to prove anything. You carry this mastery quietly. You do not announce it. You do not display it. It shows itself naturally when it matters most, like now. The situation continues to unfold, but you are no longer waiting for an outcome. You are present, fully. That presence changes everything. It removes desperation from the equation. It removes uncertainty. You are enough right here without anything extra. This is what growth looks like. Not louder, not harder, just clearer. Clear about who you are. Clear about what you stand for. Clear about what you will not allow. You take note of this feeling, the steadiness, the grounded awareness, the absence of panic. This is the result of work done when no one was watching. Work done in silence. Work done through repetition and reflection and discipline. You did not become this by accident. You became this by choosing yourself repeatedly, even when it was uncomfortable, even when it was lonely, even when it felt pointless. Those choices compound. They show up now. The moment does not need a dramatic ending. It does not need noise. The shift already happened. The understanding is already there. You are not what they expected, and you never needed to be. You move forward with this knowledge, not heavier, lighter, because you no longer carry the burden of proving anything. You simply exist as you are, and that is enough. They came thinking it would be easy. They leave knowing it was not, and you continue walking unchanged. Time stretches, and you feel it in every fiber of yourself. The pressure is not outside of you, it is inside, moving through you, testing you again. But this time, you meet it with knowledge instead of fear. You know what it feels like to be underestimated. You know what it feels like to be dismissed. You know what it feels like when everyone expects you to fold, to crumble, to apologize for existing. And now, after everything, you meet it with calm that feels like fire contained. Not explosive, but relentless. Not chaotic, but inevitable. They are watching, trying to read the rhythm of your breathing, the pace of your thoughts, the posture of your stance. But you have learned to hide nothing because there is nothing to hide. Every battle, every silent victory, every hardship that should have broken you has layered into an unshakable foundation. And foundations do not bend. They do not tremble. They do not care about appearances. They simply hold. And that holding forces others to see their own weakness reflected back at them. It is in this reflection that you find the quiet power. You are not loud. You do not shout. You do not need to threaten. You do not need to prove anything. They came expecting drama. They came expecting panic. They came expecting concession. Instead, they meet focus, patience, and clarity. And clarity is merciless in its own way. Clarity shows them exactly what they misjudged, and no argument, no manipulation, no history can change that truth.